Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juniper Rose, and today we are going to be doing Witchy Wonders episode 3. So for today's episode, I will be telling you a couple of small, short paranormal stories that I've experienced in the spirit of the Samhain and Halloween season. And then I also wanted to talk to you guys today about protection magic. Protection magic is so important if you are practicing witchcraft, especially since you are raising a lot of energies. It can attract various entities, whether they are negative or positive. Either way, it's very important to learn how to protect yourself before diving into any type of spell work. I cannot stress this enough. Moving right along, let's get into the paranormal story time. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. I hope you like it. Before I begin, I just want to put out a disclaimer that I do know that some people do not believe in anything paranormal, and that's totally fine. All that I'm asking is that you be respectful. If you want to hear it for the story aspect, then go right ahead. But please, please, please do not be negative. These are just experiences that I have had personally in my life, and I do believe them to be true and paranormal. I do honestly have no way to debunk these stories to come up with a logical reason as to how it wouldn't be paranormal. So if you're interested in watching, just sit back, relax, grab some coffee or some tea, and let's get started. But first, coffee. Do you like my festive little straw? It's orange for Halloween because I'm that much of a nerd. Anyways, enough about straws, because I know that I talked about straws in my last episode, and I'm sure that bored the hell out of you, but either way. Oh boy, okay. Hi, Reese. Hi. Come here. I do have my puppy Risu here with me to keep me company today, and oh, you're squirmy! You're squirmy! Alright, just sit down there. So jumping right into my paranormal story time, this is a story that was retold to me by family members as I was too young to remember. This was around the time when I was probably about just shy of a year old, or maybe a little bit older. All that I know is that I was still in a crib. So one night, my parents woke to the sound of me in my bedroom just babbling away. And they were curious as to why I was up in the middle of the night, like what was I doing and why wasn't I sleeping. They walked into my bedroom and they saw me talking to the corner of my bedroom near my crib. They were just really confused because it was a one-sided conversation. It definitely looked as if I was talking to somebody. I wasn't just sitting in my crib alone, just kind of babbling out of boredom or how kids sometimes do when they play. I was actually reacting as if somebody was talking to me, and that kind of freaked my parents out. So they put me back to bed, and then they themselves went back to sleep. The very next night, they awoke to the same sound of me having a one-sided conversation with a corner in my bedroom. This happened for quite a few nights, and the more that they saw me talking, the more that they came to the conclusion that I was talking to some kind of entity or spirit. So that's creepy. And I mean, like I said, I don't even remember this because I was too young. This is just, again, something that was told to me by my family members. So jumping into a story that I do remember because I was a little bit older, I would get sleep paralysis all the time. And this actually happened for quite a few years until I was almost out of high school. But what I do remember is waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to move my body. This was scary because I also felt a very, very heavy presence with me in the bedroom. And when I looked over, occasionally I could see a shadow figure out of the corner of my eye. And I tried to scream, but I couldn't do anything about it because my body was still asleep. And I just remember that happening on almost a nightly basis for so many years. I definitely do remember seeing these really dark figures in my bedroom just staring at me. That's a really freaky thing to wake up to, especially when you're a kid that is still afraid of the potential of a monster hiding in your closet or under your bed. Jumping forward to add on to this story, a couple of months ago, I actually experienced sleep paralysis for the first time in years. Now, this was a very interesting experience because I woke up suddenly after a nightmare. I don't even remember what the nightmare was at this point, but I woke up and I couldn't move my body. I was kind of a little bit freaked out, but then I was like, oh wait, no, this is just sleep paralysis. Like, my mind is awake, but my body's asleep. It's okay. But then I felt that heavy, sickening, nauseating presence that I did as a child. I looked around, but it was a little bit too dark to see the outline of any sort of a figure. But then suddenly, I heard this deep, inhuman growl right in my ear. I was so fucking scared because I couldn't move. I could not scream even though I was trying to. My mind was screaming, but nothing was coming out of my mouth. I tried to move. I tried to do anything just to break out of that sleep paralysis. I felt that something was pressing down on my head and my body and my chest. I felt that I couldn't breathe. In that moment, it felt like hours, but I'm sure it only lasted 30 seconds. Finally, I was able to take a sharp inhalation of breath, and that kind of jumped my body out of that sleep paralysis state. It took me a few minutes to recover from that experience just because that's not something that I have experienced in years. And that growling in my ear was something I don't ever remember experiencing as a child. Now, to debunk this, because I know that most of you are going to assume that it could very well have been one of my dogs, but both of my dogs were asleep on the other side of the bed. They were not near me at all. There was no dog like right in my ear growling at me, and honestly, the growl that I heard was so deep. It didn't sound like any of my dogs. It was literally not a sound that any of my dogs could make. I mean, I honestly have no logical explanation for that experience, but I mean, take it for what it is. If you don't believe it, that's fine, but I am 100% telling the truth from my point of view. Those are my paranormal story times for today, but I also wanted to talk to you guys today about the importance of protection magic. This is one of the first things that I learned before even attempting to do spell work. It was a recommendation that was told to me by several witches and several other people that practice a similar path. So what exactly is protection magic, and why is it so important? Like, why am I grilling this in your brain? Essentially, when you start practicing magic through rituals, through spell work, even through visualization or meditations, you are raising a big clusterfuck of energy. This can attract different entities, whether they are positive or negative. Honestly, it attracts them mostly out of curiosity. And so you never really know what kind of entity you are going to attract. That is why it is very important to protect yourself against harmful or negative entities that do intend to wish you ill will. So what are some different ways that we can protect ourselves from anything that wishes us ill will? There is actually a lot that you can do, and finding what type of protection suits you the best will be the most important for your craft, because you do want to feel comfortable when you are doing protection magic. You want to make sure that it is something that you feel works for you. What I'm basically saying by that is everybody has a different method for protection magic. Everybody has their own way of going about it. What I'll be doing today is just covering some of the basics of protection magic, some basic crystals, herbs, things you can do to protect yourself. Ugh. Dog hairs on my face, I swear to God, are never ending. First of all, protective crystals. There are a lot of options out there, and I'm just gonna list a few. But some of my favorite protective crystals are actually smoky quartz and amethyst. They are very easily obtained and generally within a decent price range. I carry my smoky quartz crystal with me everywhere. And this crystal, for me, absorbs any negative energies, either that are coming off of just people in general, or so on and so forth. I actually did forget to mention this before, but you can also protect yourself against other people's energies and other people's emotions. This is actually very important, especially if you are an empathetic person. I do believe that I am empathetic, and so I can very easily pick up on emotions from other people. And honestly, since I can't control those emotions, sometimes I get bombarded with just a clusterfuck of negative emotions or sadness or depression. And I have a very hard time being able to explain why I feel that way because it's not coming from me, if that makes any sense. So again, protective crystals that you can use in your craft or that you can wear would be smoky quartz, amethyst, obsidian is an excellent protective crystal. It is a very powerful one. It's actually technically not a crystal, I recently learned. I mean, I probably learned this in grade school, but I mean, who remembers that? Like, let's be honest. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to get at is obsidian's actually volcanic glass. Like, that blows my mind. But either way, it is a very good stone to work with when you need some heavy duty protection. Another crystal that I absolutely love for protection is actually labradorite. Labradorite not only has basic protective properties that are very beneficial when you carry this crystal with you, but it also will help sever any ties and connections that you have to people that negatively influence you in your life. For me, this is an essential crystal that I love to use while protecting myself. Some more protective crystals that you can use are hematite, jet, tiger's eye, fluorite is another good protective crystal. Basically, any dark colored crystal will have protective properties that will be beneficial to you. Some protective herbs, of course, obviously sage, as we often love to sage our homes, we love to sage our space, ourselves. Sage is very good for clearing out any stagnant or negative energies that may be lingering around in your home. I personally love to just sage my home as the last step after I've gone through and cleaned everything. It really just gets rid of that stagnant energy that tends to make me feel really restless. Sage is probably one of, if not the best herb for keeping bad energies, entities, anything out of your home. Some more protective herbs that you can use that might be lying around your kitchen are actually very common for cooking. Basil and thyme, ginger. You can also use ivy, although I'm not really positive that's used in cooking. Jasmine, lemon, juniper is actually an excellent protective herb to use. Anyways, lavender is another good protective herb that you can use. Dried rose petals or rose hips are also very good to have as a protection method, as rose tends to attract love and any beings of a higher vibration, and it can also help you develop a better connection and relationship with your guardians and guides. And this is very important when it comes to casting circles prior to your spell work, because a lot of the times you will invoke and invite any of your guardians and guides to be present to add their protective energies into your circle. So if you're more interested in casting a circle, I highly recommend that you check up some different methods either on YouTube or Google. I can make a separate video as well if you would like that just covers casting a circle. I do believe that it actually would deserve its own video just because there's a lot of different ways that you can go about that. Hey, you're fine. You're just fine, buddy. I just want to have you here. Apparently Risu's just not having it. Salt is another very good protective thing that you can have. A lot of people like to line around the edges of their home or line doorways or windowsills to keep any bad things from entering their home. I absolutely also love using protective runes and sigils. So whenever I'm casting a spell, I will use the runes Thurisaz and Iwaz for protection and safety. Also, side note, forgive me if I pronounced those wrong, but I tried. You can also create sigils or look up any protective sigils online that have been already created. Drawing these sigils above any windowways or any doorways is also a good way to keep anything negative out of your home or out of a bedroom, for example. The color black in general is also very protective, so black candles can also be considered very protective. Wearing a pentacle or having pentacles present at your altar are also considered protective sigils or symbols. You can also create mojo bags that have certain crystals and herbs with protective properties. You can also throw in some salt in there and maybe cast a little charm of protection on your mojo bag, and then you can either just wear it around your neck or carry it with you. So those are just a few basic methods of protecting yourself or getting started with protecting yourself prior to doing ritual and spell work. Once you are ready to cast your first spell, I highly recommend that your first spell is of protection. Protection spells are excellent for your very first spell to cast because that will help you stay protected throughout your practice. Other than that, that's actually all that I have for you guys today. I really hope that you liked this video. I also know that it is out a day early, as when you're watching it, today will be Tuesday, but I really wanted to just get this filmed now in time for Samhain. So without further ado, thank you again so much for tuning into my channel, and a huge thank you to everybody so far that has watched and subscribed and liked and commented on my videos. I honestly am a bit flabbergasted that people are actually starting to watch my videos. Like, it blows my mind that people want to sit here and listen to me ramble all day. So thank you so much. I am so grateful for all of your love and your support. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe down below. My social media information, as always, is also in the description box below, so please check that out. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic Samhain and Halloween. Please remember to stay safe and be courteous of others while you are out and about. And until next time, the witch is out. Bye! Do you want to do a thumbnail? Do you want to do a thumbnail with me? Come here. Oh, I love you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. So moving along, protect, and so about the important, this just absorbs negative and, like, I was actually, there's like a creepy, would be ivy. Well, I mean, ivy isn't around your kitchen probably, but I mean, mint might be. Oh my god, I'm rambling. Okay. I am all over the place right now, like, whoo lordy. Okay. I'm really good at rambling, in case you haven't noticed, but I am so cheesy at this. Wow. Okay. I'm so bad at technology, man. Like,